10 years ago, a deadly epidemic called chroma syndrome killed 2 billion people. The virus killed people and brought them back to life, making the war between the living and the dead. And when there is a zombie outbreak, the Brimstone Protocol, which dropped the bombs to destroy the whole infected areas including the innocent people, was a cure. In this day and age, the only remaining zombies are kept on an isolated island. A woman named Valerie's decided to turn it into a luxury facility called the ReZort, where tourists can hunt the zombies as a sport. She is also the chairman of a charity program, funded from the ReZort's profit, called Hope for You, a refugee aid organization. At the moment, Melanie, a PTSD patient whose dad got killed 10 years ago in the zombie war, is on her way back home from her social support group. Her fiancé, Louis, always stays by her side to overcome her trauma. They decide to sign up for a trip to the ReZort, the only option to help Melanie improve. On the day of arrival, there are other guests including Jack and Alfie, teenage video gamers. Sadie, whose ex-fiancé dumped her prior to their wedding, also join the trip. While waiting in the lounge, Melanie sees a little refugee girl outside the airport. She comes and says hi to the girl, feeling sorry for all of the refugees outside. After that, all the guests gather on a boat heading to the island. When the group arrives on the island resort, they find the resort very nice and welcoming. In the afternoon, they practice shooting the targets. Melanie doesn't need a guide as her fiancé is a soldier. At night, they have a pool party from the owner of the resort, Valerie's. She reminds the guests about the cruelty of the zombie outbreak 10 years ago, which brought them to the resort to get away from trauma and soul injuries. Her speech ends by a show of a female zombie being restrained, making the crowd go nuts in excitement. Meanwhile, Sadie sneaks into the security room. By a password in the hand, she easily hacks the system and downloads some information. Her strange action is then caught by Archer, a quiet veteran's after. The fireworks make the party even more satisfying. The next morning, while resting by the pool, Melanie sees a female zombie again being brutally pulled and chained in the neck. She becomes anxious for no reason. After that, the guests leave the hotel for the hunting in the safari. At the same time, Valerie's is angry at the careless security staff who let the system lag. Being scared of being fired, they hide the problem from her and attempt to fix it. Finally, they manage to open the garage, bringing the tourists to the hunting safari. The tourists are divided into two groups. The first one will kill the restrained zombies. The second one will snipe at them from a safe distance. While everyone is ready for the hunt, Archer notices that Sadie just wanders around, not picking up the gun. Despite Louis urging, Melanie couldn't make it as the female zombie was looking at her. Right after Melanie gives it up, Archer surprises the others by scoring many rapid headshots. Meanwhile, Valerie's and the team still struggle with the security error. At dusk, the tour guide drives them to the camp spot for resting. Melanie complains to her fiancé that the trip is a bad idea. Meanwhile, Archer questions Sadie about her purposes for this trip. At the control office, the staff inform Valerie's about the hacking issues. While Valerie's is still confused, several systems show failures, making the resort security system go offline. The fences open, freeing the zombies. They start to spread all over the resort and contaminate the tourists and the staff. Valerie's quickly locks herself in the room to avoid being infected. The brimstone is activated in the meantime. The disaster at the moment, the guests outside the resort in the safari do not realize what has happened. The first group has finished their hunt in the restrained zombie zone. While getting back to the car, they are attacked by the released zombies, ending up becoming the Walking Dead. At the same time, the second group still enjoys their camping night. Melanie and Sadie discuss the ethics of killing zombies to get well and entertained. While chilling, the two see a zombie approaching. Melanie immediately wakes everyone else up. She urges Sadie to pull the trigger towards that zombie, but for some reason, Archer turns it down instead. Nevins, the tour guide, suspects the presence of the zombie in such a distance. He lights up around and terrifiedly sees a colony of zombies are walking to them. The group fires without let-up to the living dead. Melanie luckily escapes from being bitten thanks to Sadie. Alfie is killed while he rushes to the car. After a while, Archer orders the group to hold the fire as they have defeated all the zombies. They all gather on top of the car, staying up all night. Early in the next morning, Nevins tells them the entire island will be firebombed in several hours, and their only hope is to escape to the docks. Following Devins' guidance, the group start heading to the docks. On the way, Louis gets irritated when Archer takes the lead of the group. When the group gets to the fence, Jack is suddenly attacked. Fortunately, Nevins shoots the zombie in the head, but he also realizes the defeated zombie is his guide coworker, Mike. At the fence, the group take their turn to pass through, Following is a group of the Walking Dead. Sadie again saves Melanie when she is attacked. Naveen's is unluckily bitten in the neck. While Melanie comforts him, Lewis shoots Naveen's in the head, leaving her incredibly shocked and angry. The group keeps moving. Melanie decides not to talk to Lewis. Archer, however, takes Lewis' side when he talks to Melanie. He also explains that he has come to the resort because killing zombies is the only thing he was ever good at. As they get closer to the safe place, Archer threatens Sadie about her suspicious action the other night, making her tell the truth about her being here at the resort. She admits that she comes from Living 2, a zombie right activist group. While Lewis and Jack start to blame Sadie for what happened, Melanie promises not to leave Sadie behind. The team is now passing the abandoned town. They hold tight inside the house because the zombies are all around the house. They have to separate into two smaller groups as the zombie is approaching. Sadie and Jack together, and the rest are Melanie, Lewis, and Archer. After the zombie attack, Sadie is bitten and sacrifices herself to give Jack time to escape. Before she dies, she gives him her USB of evidence. Jack rushes all the way to the three. Melanie saves him in a second, blocking the aggressive dead at the fence. The time is counting down at 55 minutes. The escape the four now enter the resort. Since the whole area is black out, they can't get inside. Lewis suggests taking another way. They arrive at a dark place, full of cages. Next they pass an infrared room. Suddenly, a zombie dropped from the ceiling bites Jack in the neck. Archer has no choice but to get rid of him. The remaining three continue to walk to a room called the Refuge Hall. They discover the resort has been using a charitable front organization to lure refugees to the island, where they are transformed into zombies. And the heat room is for aging them. Right after that, Melanie realizes a girl zombie whom she met at the airport. The zombies in the hall start to chase the three. As Archer and Melanie hold back zombies, Lewis abandons them. Archer rushes Melanie to leave before him. Archer tells Melanie to keep Sadie's USB safe and make sure the information would be released. He decides to open the door and sacrifices himself into the gang of zombies. Melanie runs fast to escape. When she reaches the resort lobby, she runs into Lewis again. However, Lewis is bitten in the arm. Melanie hands him the gun so he can end himself, paying the price for what he has done to her. In the control room, Melanie is attacked, but Valerie's rescues her. Melanie accuses Valerie's for everything and starts to fight her over the gun. The zombies outside break into the room and tear Valerie's in pieces, one of whom is the displayed female zombie. Melanie manages to leap into the sea when the bombing activates. After being rescued, she exposes all the crimes involving the resort. Melanie says to the press that although the investigations are needed, they won't fix the problem. Meanwhile, Archer watches her on television. The reporter, who is on live news, is frightened when there are zombies attacking people on the beach below. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching. You should check these recaps.